Hello everybody! I'm going to show you the basic setup for Murder at Blood Mansion, just in case the rules are not clear. Alright, so first of all, you have the deck and you want to separate the actual suspect cards and the murder cards from the deck, okay? You do not need to take out the dead end suspect cards, okay? Every card indicates with a little letter in the back, S for suspect. Those all stay in the deck when you're preparing the game. Okay, and the murder cards are different than the weapon cards. Murder cards have M and they're in gray. The weapon cards are this light blue and they are similar, but it's not the same. So keep all the murder cards in the deck and only the weapon cards in the deck and only the murder cards are separated, okay? And another thing you need to note is it's by purpose that we don't say what the weapon is in the murder. That's part of being a detective, to determine what the weapon is. In this case, it's not too hard. It will be the sword, okay? That's the sword. It looks like. So don't get it confused with the stiletto, all right? But that's part of detective work. All right, so back to setting up. Let's say you have a 4-player game, okay? Sometimes you can randomly choose who the characters will be. Sometimes you can choose yourself. Alright, so let's say in this case, the characters are going to be Lucius, Zona, Tabitha, and Lady Blood in a 4-player game, okay, for the tokens. So the tokens that you're not using in the game, they will not be part of the game. Get them off the table, put them far away, okay? So you figured out that these will be your players, Zona, Tabitha, Lady Blood. So then you take the cards out of the deck and who's going to be in the game, okay? So it's Tabitha, Lady Blood, and Zona, okay? And then the rest of the characters that are not in the game, that will not be played by players, those also will not be part of the game. So put those to the side. So you've now decided you have 4 suspects, possible suspects, and possibly 1 murderer who will be in the game. So you shuffle the deck, and you ask one person, please select a suspect or point to a card. They will point to a card without anybody looking. You take the card out of the deck and you take the other 3 cards, and the reason why we have this innocent suspect card is you take all the other innocent suspects who will not be the suspects and put them in this envelope, okay? And nobody knows who this is the murderer. You put the murderer back in the deck, all right? And then, very carefully, you shuffle the deck. Being careful not to expose the murderer, okay? Give it 1, 2, or 3 shuffles is pretty good. Be careful not to do it open-faced shuffle, because people could possibly see the murderer there. So keep it always pointing down, all right? Then you can cut the deck for good measure. And then this is the play deck, all right? Then everybody gets their own token, okay? And you then deal out 5 cards each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is how you begin the game. Everyone then can look at their cards. Let's say we were Lucius and we look at our deck and we have 2 suspect cards, and only we know that none of these suspects are the actual suspect. They are dead-end suspects, okay? Then what happens is, after everyone looks at their deck, you then determine who has the least amount of suspect or weapon cards in their hands. That's the person who goes first, okay? In this case, these 2 players have no suspect or no weapon cards. So then the next person, the next count is whoever has the least amount of guilt cards. In this case, the player who's playing Zona, she only has 2 guilt cards, therefore Zona goes first. And now what Zona does is she will take any card from this deck, should shuffle it, and she will reveal what the murder weapon is. She picks up the card that she chooses, and it says, well, she doesn't choose, she has to randomly pick the card. And in this case, it says a murder has taken place and the weapon is missing. In this case, it looks like a rifle. So this is the weapon that we're going to have to uncover to win the game. You take the rest of the murder cards and they're no longer part of the game. Now to have fun, you can take the people who are not in the game and you can say that, for example, one of these people will be the victim. In this case, it was Merriweather. So Merriweather was found dead and he was killed with a rifle. This is the play deck. You can take the rest of the possible victim cards or players who are not in the game and get those out of the game. And that is the basic setup for Murder at Blood Mansion. The crime is this. Merriweather was killed by the rifle. We need to find the rifle, which is one in the deck somewhere, and we need to find the suspect who is in the deck as well. And that's the setup for Murder at Blood Mansion. Any questions, send me an email at bradenbarty@bloodmansion.com. Thanks for watching.